Coming up on the first episode of Tech Threads, we will be welcoming Baya's new board members, Siva Yerramilli from Synopsys and Manish Muthal from Maverick Silicon, with whom we will discuss the rapid evolution in the world of semiconductors brought to us by AI, chiplets, and the slowing down of Moore's Law.
Welcome to Tech Threads, Weaving the Intelligent Future, the podcast exploring the fast-paced world of technology. In each episode, we dive into the latest innovations in data movement, AI acceleration, and the transformative potential of chiplet technology. Join us as we explore the breakthroughs that shape the future of computing and hear from industry experts on what's coming next in the tech landscape.
Welcome to the first episode of Tech Threads. My name is Stan Reiss. I'm Baya's initial investor and a partner at a long-standing venture capital firm called Matrix. Today, we're welcoming the company's two newest board members, Siva Yerramilli from Synopsys and Manish Muthal from Maverick Silicon. I myself have been investing in semiconductors for 25 years, and one thing I've seen is that the best companies in the space tend to look like Baya did at the start. An A-plus team working in their area of expertise. I've seen a startup before and had some scars on their backs. And at the start, it was pretty much Sailesh with Jim providing invaluable guidance with Joji and Eric in the wings. And they had all built fabrics before, the company called NetSpeed that Intel eventually acquired. Made it a very easy decision to back the team, and I was frankly more focused at convincing them that I could be helpful to them, and they've done superbly since then. And now we're bringing in terrific partners in Manish and Siva who will help the company get to the next level. Manish and Siva, would you tell us a little about yourselves and your journeys?
Thanks, Stan. It is great to be here today and join this podcast. So I'm a senior managing director in Maverick Silicon. Prior to joining Maverick last year, I have been in executive roles at large semiconductor companies like Intel, Broadcom, LSI, Xilinx. And I would say in the last 10 plus years, my focus really has been on accelerated computing, working very closely with the hyperscalers like Microsoft and AWS. I also spent about 10 years in startups, mostly in the areas of enterprise, network security, switching, router carrier infrastructure. And as a founder, I have experienced the startup journey right from the early idea stage all the way to successful exits. And interestingly, in my roles at Intel and Xilinx particularly, I also got the opportunity to work closely with the corporate VC arm of these companies. And as a business unit sponsor, I was able to go drive significant investments and acquisitions during those tenures. So having seen this world of startups up close and personal, first as an entrepreneur, as a founder, then as a corporate investor advisory board member, I was thrilled when Maverick approached me for this role. And I'm thoroughly enjoying the opportunity to work closely and partner with innovative startups like Baya, work with some of the smartest founding teams out there, and really look forward to this journey forward with these startups.
Siva, what about you?
Thank you, Stan. I am excited to be a part of the board of Baya Systems. My journey really weaves through a variety of disciplines by choice at Intel. I was there 3+ decades. I did everything from developing CAD tools and solutions to high-performance microprocessor design, process technology, development and pathfinding, and finally, I did the Intel Custom Foundry. In the last 5 years, I've been at Synopsys, incubating new technologies, what I say organic innovation. My passion has always been accelerating big step organic innovation at Synopsys to achieve its mission of empowering technology innovators across the world. When I was at Intel, my role really included a lot of Intel capital investment. That's where I had a lot of experience driving some amazing companies and driving innovation. I'm super excited to be a part of the board, to be involved with Baya Systems. This is truly a golden era for silicon. Silicon is again a very important differentiators for our existing and new customers. I've been almost in this field for about 4 decades. I've never seen an opportunity like this ever before. Super excited to be a part of this and driving the future of computing and AI.
Now, Siva, you've been a strategic thinker and you've focused on innovation, technology incubation for a while. How is that mindset different than traditional venture capital?
Traditionally, venture capital is chasing big financial returns, which is really the primary commitment to their investors. In contrast, our mission, actually my mission, is to empower technology innovators everywhere. I have 3 focus vectors. It, of course, goes without saying that we build the pervasive AI solutions across all our product lines at Synopsys, but primarily, I'm focusing on 3 vectors. First one is Moore's Law has been around for a very long time, providing amazing innovations and results and PPA improvements for several decades. As we can all see, the Moore's Law gains are flattening out. So we are really driving innovation to supplement Moore's Law to provide additional PPA benefits with our solutions. And the second vector is manufacturing. Here, we're really trying to provide solutions that bridge architecture, design, manufacturing, and field debug and support. We can actually provide that continuum, potentially improving root causing much faster, resulting in a much higher yield, and providing much better PPA. We're really pioneering digital twins to accelerate process technology and product wraps. Lastly, I'd say system designs. We're building solutions to increase the abstraction of system design to enable software-defined systems. We provide our customers much better optimality and optionality very early in the design. In the age of AI, these kind of solutions really stand out and really help our customers innovate faster. So particularly those who don't possess deep expertise in chip design. So that's what excites me.
It'll be helpful to Baya. Now, Manish, your background also has a lot of hands-on technology development and go-to-market. How do you see your role in companies you oversee as a board member now?
Sure. So during my 30-year career in the semiconductor industry, I've been really fortunate to have had the opportunity to have both silicon and system architecture in my scope, allowing me to stay reasonably technical through the years. I believe that the product and go-to-market strategy, as well as the sales motion in the semiconductor industry, is mostly centered around technology innovation, differentiation, and value prop. And staying on top of technology has really helped me build that domain expertise and, more importantly, that market intuition that has allowed me to impedance match with both architects and technologists at my customers as well as partners. At the same time, as I took on increasing business responsibilities leading up to VPGM roles at these large semiconductor companies like Intel, Broadcom, I was able to build some deep relationships with key executives, decision makers at these large customers as well as partners over the years. There, of course, have been ups and downs and difficult situations to deal with. But I've been fortunate to have built credibility with these customers and partners, with the people that I've worked with, by always being customer-oriented and really operating with complete trust and transparency. So now, as a board member in a new role for me, I really look forward to helping startups across a variety of activities, from creating, fine-tuning, pivoting their product strategies, their go-to-market strategies as needed, helping operationalize those strategies, executing those strategies with customers, partners as needed as a board member, but really helping these startups by leveraging my relationships, helping open doors at customers and partners, and also helping bring the right talent to these companies. Now, the companies that we are partnering with, like Baya, they already have great founders, they have great C-level leadership teams, but I fully expect that all our companies will go through some challenging times, and we want to make sure that as investors, we support our founders through all these challenges, and we work our way together to successful outcomes for all stakeholders. So I'm really looking forward to this journey as a board member at Baya and other companies that we are partnering with.
Looking forward to having you here. Like you mentioned ups and downs, and the reality is the whole semiconductor industry had lots of ups and downs. But with the explosion of AI, the industry is roared back into prominence. How do you see the landscape evolving? And like, what are the most sought after areas for you for investment now?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question, right? So if you look at the last couple of years, we have seen the rise of accelerated computing with specialized domain-specific architectures disrupting the cloud data center. NVIDIA, with its investments in high-performance GPUs and CUDA, built on their leadership in the HPC space, has clearly driven the shift towards accelerated computing, which in turn is driving the growth of interconnect switches, power, cooling architectures, memory storage, effectively resulting in a complete transformation of the data center. The hyperscalers have responded by building their own custom silicon for both AI training and AI inference. And we expect that we will see continued growth for accelerated computing in the form of GPUs, in the form of XPUs, in the form of interconnects that enable customers to build these large AI infrastructures in the cloud. But beyond that first frontier of cloud data center, the next frontier, we believe, is going to be for the edge infrastructure. And if you look at the edge, that really spans across the edge of the cloud to the edge of the telco carrier infrastructure, all the way to the device edge in the form of AI PCs, IoT, and so on. So that's going to touch broad segments across automotive with ADAS and autonomous driving, industrial use cases like smart cities, smart factories, and of course, in the consumer space with AI PCs, in the healthcare space and defense and so on. So as these AI models that have been trained first in the cloud using massive data sets, realize efficiencies through both architecture and algorithmic enhancements, as we saw recently in the form of DeepSeek leveraging mixture of experts, leveraging reinforcement learning, we believe that a good amount of AI inferencing will start moving into these edge deployments. So that becomes sort of the next area of growth for startups as well as for incumbents. And we expect to see significant investment flowing into edge use cases like autonomous vehicles, robotics, and so on. Finally, if you look at the exponentially increasing compute intensity driven by these AI workloads, and you look at how the front end of innovation has slowed down in the post-Moore's law era, it is really necessitating the need to shift from large monolithic die to multi-die system on chips paradigm, where multiple dies are interconnected within a package substrate to deliver better overall cost, better overall performance, and better overall energy efficiency. That shift is another key driver for the opportunities that we see in the semiconductor space as we look at companies that are building innovative packages with 2.5D, with 3D packaging of logic with memory, logic on top of logic, with innovative cooling solutions that need to be accompanied to enable those packaging solutions, new interconnect standards to allow us to go build those scale up and scale out infrastructures. IP chiplet marketplace, we believe, will need to be created through the need of open standards, as well as platform architectural and performance modeling solutions that will enable hardware, software co-design. So we believe that the semiconductor industry is ripe for growth across the cloud data center, across the edge, and across this back-end innovation. that will really usher in that golden era of semiconductors.
So Siva, how have you seen the landscape change from your vantage point in both semiconductors and EDA? It's obviously different than just the semiconductor investment point of view.
AI is transforming the world in a big way. There are so many new players that really are entering the semiconductor space. Really, from a standpoint of system design, there are people who are designing system, start with the system and design down. And they really are not very familiar with the silicon development. They're looking for the EDA players to really help them in connecting the systems to silicon and developing silicon. And that is one big trend that I see. The second one is it's really a great opportunity for us to grow and find new TAM opportunities rather than the traditional semiconductors customers that have been there. So we really find it exciting to see new set of customers who are really looking for players like Synopsys to help them to design systems and connect them to the silicon and really find the interdependencies and optimize them. And AI is not only a market, it is also something that we're utilizing across all our technologies and product. We call it pervasive AI. We are helping address talent gaps that are across the industry to provide AI as a means to really improve the productivity and also stretch the R&D in a big way. So a lot of very exciting innovations are taking place in EDA to help our customers bridge talent gaps and optimize in ways that they haven't been able to do in the past.
Now AI is a wind at your back. It's a wind at the whole industry's back. There'll be bumps in the road. There are always bumps in the road. What do you think are the key challenges that you see going forward?
There is always, the way I think about bumps are challenges or opportunities for us to create new innovation to help our customers overcome those bumps. In terms of the traditional semiconductor cycles where there is a cyclical up and down, the AI really adds a totally different vector of growth and opportunity for us because the customers that we are having in the new AI world are across the world and they're all really not cyclical in nature. So I view that as a tremendous market opportunity for us to solve problems. Of course, these are new set of customers. We need to understand their challenges, their needs, and really address them. But I think I view that as really not a bump in the road, but it's really a completely different vector of growth for us.
Yeah, definitely. Manish, what do you think? Is AI going to be less cyclical than other things? And what are the challenges?
So if you look at it from the perspective of how computing has evolved in this era of super high compute intense AI workloads, one of the key challenges has been the slowing down of Moore's law is necessitating the requirement of breaking down the overall functionality into multiple dies called chiplets and being able to interconnect them using more sophisticated packaging technologies. One of the key impediments we see or the challenges we see to that whole shift towards chiplets and sophisticated packages is really the need for open interconnect standards, die-to-die connectivity, protocol, data link layer protocol that is standardized across different chiplet vendors, BIOS and firmware compatibility and definition across the whole industry. In specific verticals like automotive, the need for functional safety, mixed criticality. So there's a lot of technical challenges that we still need to overcome as an industry to usher in the era of chiplet platforms. So that clearly is one key challenge we see in front of us in this compute-intense era of AI. And the other one that we see is that if you look at it from the perspective of the need for high-end silicon technology, the need for 3 nanometer, 2 nanometer technology going forward, we have all seen the capital intensity of doing these startups has gone up significantly. I personally experienced this during my tenure at Intel and Xilinx when I worked closely with the corporate VC arms and we funded companies, innovative companies that in many cases were really innovating around some key technology areas. We were able to go fund those companies at their seed and Series A stages. The amount of capital needed was relatively small during those stages. But there comes a time in the life of a startup when you now need to go to market with your first generation product. So your sales and marketing expenses start going up. At the same time, you need to start working on your second generation product. So there's significant expense associated with developing that second generation product. What you've seen is that, at least during my tenure at Intel and Xilinx, we saw that there was a dearth of private capital to support these companies in that stage of Series B, Series C, when they're still a couple years away from an exit, say an IPO or an acquisition. And that's where I think investors now need to play a critical role to address that challenge of dearth of private capital in the silicon industry. And we've seen the investors step up. We've definitely seen investors step up in the compute engine, like building next generation AI inferencing architectures that can deliver significantly better performance and efficiency going forward. But there's a lot more needed around the compute engine in the form of interconnects, silicon photonics, memory, storage, power, cooling, and so on. So those are some of the key areas we see. And clearly Maverick Silicon is focused on addressing some of those challenges.
So it's interesting you talk a lot about capital intensity, and obviously there's a role that you guys fill in as well. Tell us what attracted you to Baya. Certainly Baya's approach is not as capital intensive as somebody that's building a GPU, so that probably played a role. But tell us what brought you here.
Absolutely. So I think Siva also talked about this golden era of silicon that's upon us now, or let's call it the silicon resurgence, right? We believe there's going to be unprecedented growth of semiconductors in the next 10, 15 years. However, if you look at the last 5, 10, 15 years, there has been significant dearth of private capital, as I alluded to earlier. After almost 15 years of scarce private capital, we have started to see private capital flow into the silicon industry, but mostly in the form of the large AI training and AI inference compute engines. Now, if you look at those architectures, as well as the architectures of the interconnect silicon that needs to essentially help realize that AI infrastructure, a common architectural challenge for that type of silicon is really the data movement that happens on these large chips, as well as across those chiplets in a multi-chiplet package going forward. So irrespective of whether it's a monolithic die or a multi-die chiplet platform, AI processing that involves significant data movement is essentially the primary cost and power driver of many of these silicon platforms. So for these chiplet-based platforms, being able to address this specific challenge is going to be super critical. We fundamentally believe in that. But an additional requirement is the ability to do upfront architectural what-if analysis, upfront performance modeling, being able to mix and match the chiplet solutions across multiple vendors into a common fabric, and be able to proactively understand the performance and the QoS implications of combining various chiplets together. So this, we believe, has become a key headwind towards this industry transition to a chiplet-based platform. So when we looked at Baya, or when we look at any company, we are fundamentally at Maverick Silicon focused on identifying breakthrough technologies that have the potential to disrupt and redefine industries. So when we looked at Baya, it really stood out for several reasons. First, their breakthrough compilable NOC technology that has been proven through their prior efforts really helps deliver on the hyper-efficient data movement requirements of the silicon in the AI era. That's number one. But it also addresses the performance challenges of these chiplet platforms by enabling software solutions that allow customers to essentially do those architectural analysis, upfront performance modeling. Now, we believe that there are incumbents in this space who have fulfilled the needs of the market so far. But in the era of AI, the KPIs are going to be even more stringent. When it comes to the wire efficiency, the bandwidth, the latency, the correctness by construction, the future-proofness of the designs that need to be done in fast design closure, we believe that a paradigm shift is needed when it comes to compilable interconnects. And that's where we think that Baya's technology is completely unmatched by competition in this regard. So that, we believe, gives them a key competitive advantage. So that's kind of a core thesis for us when we looked at Baya. But when we look at companies, we look beyond just the technology differentiation, because that, as Stan, right, right, that's not enough, right? We place equal emphasis, if not more, on the team that is driving those companies and that innovation. So a company may have a great product, but without a strong visionary team that helps drive that company through the ups and downs that are inevitable, the future remains uncertain. So that's why we prioritize a combination of deep technical expertise, a bold vision, but most importantly, a track record of successful execution when we evaluate opportunities. And that is where Baya shines absolutely. Their founding team, with Sailesh and others, have had success in their past lives. They have multiple folks who have done multiple companies in the past, so serial entrepreneurs, dynamic industry veterans, and they're combining the startup mindset with a strong focus of customer orientation, delivery, and quality. So that's the combination of cutting-edge technology, clear market gap to fill a world-class team with a track record. And that's why we believe that Baya is truly well-positioned to thrive in this semiconductor industry. And so that's why we're so proud to support this company. Stan.
Thanks. Siva, you mentioned that your motivations for getting involved with companies are very different. Still, you're involved with Baya. You think this is an important part of your strategy, as I think probably as they are for the whole industry. What do you think? What attracted you here?
Great question. I would say first, one of the key initiatives that we drive at Synopsys is software-defined systems. Along those lines, if I look at software-defined systems in the new intelligent compute era, a lot of systems are actually shifting from compute focus to actually connect. There is enough compute, but really connecting the compute is becoming super important. In that regard, I was really fascinated by the scalable fabric with cache coherency of a chiplet ecosystem, bringing Baya into our interest space. And I also loved the world-class team that they have put together. Sailesh has assembled a world-class team. We remain very committed to our existing partners in this space. We're doing great work. But at the same time, we are really interested in understanding the unique challenges and opportunities in this chiplet ecosystem, where you're really driving high-performance systems to a large degree that comes from connecting all the pieces through the fabric and bringing in cache as memory becomes really important in these systems, near memory compute and so on. It's really important to bring all those pieces together. That's really what attracted us. And this is a completely new space. The requirements are still emerging. we want to stay really close to understanding all the requirements of these systems so that our roadmap of solutions, be it EDA, be it hardware-assisted verification on IP, we are proactive in building the solutions that are needed for the market to drive it without any hurdles. So that's what really excited me about Baya. And I'm super excited to be involved and be a part of this to drive the ecosystem forward.
It's terrific to have you both on board. And I think we're all looking forward to see the company evolve going forward.
Stan, if I may, one thing I would like to add about the hurdles, and I think Manish spoke very well about some of the capital and investment that's needed. But these hurdles that I see, I'm actually excited. One of the hurdles that I see is system companies are defining systems and going towards silicon. The traditional silicon builders are building system and building up to the system. We are actually excited with our involvement here. We want to take advantage of the interdependence between these two worlds, that is system and silicon, to create differentiation for their products. I think we can actually look at the system down and silicon up, and that presents a unique opportunity. One could view that as a hurdle, but I view that as an opportunity. Also, the complexity that is growing in the new systems that we see in the future because of the performance needs, latency, bandwidth that's required, it really offers a lot of productivity bottlenecks and challenges in terms of time to market. I think we're building solutions to address those. So you're asking hurdles, but I view them as truly an opportunity in this world of software-defined systems.
I agree. Well, with that, let's wrap it up, and we'll see you all in the next episode.
Thank you, Stan.
Thank you for listening to Tech Threads, Weaving the Intelligent Future podcast. Join us monthly for insights into the evolving tech landscape and the future of chiplet technology. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe and share it with your network. And stay tuned for more expert discussions. Let's weave the intelligent future together.